What we wanted to bring this video to you for is probably more me than Linda, but I'm pretty sure there's some of you out there, and I don't know, men or women, I'm sure it doesn't matter. But I used to be one of those guys that was like king of the put down, and I was really basically a butthead for the most part. And I was pretty bad. Whatever somebody would say, I'd think of a way to see if I couldn't, cut their legs out from under them, just embarrass them in whatever way. And I used to ask Linda, I wonder why we don't really have any friends. And I think Linda was just being nice, saying, well, there's a lot of people that don't have really close friends. But in actuality, now we know, I think, at least in my mind, I think I know. The reason was because I was a butthead. I did things that people didn't want to be around. I mean, it's like if I had a friend like me that constantly did those things, I don't know that I'd want to be around them either, right? You don't really want to agree a lot on this one. I don't blame you on that. But, I had a few friends, and they're not really friends, they're more like acquaintances. And they used to do the same thing back and forth with digging each other. But it's just not a happy place to be. But anyway, there is light at the end of that tunnel. And for me, it happened, it's been a while, a few years back. We actually took a course. I really don't know the name of the course other than the acronym was PSI. And there's all over the place, there's a lot of PSI graduates. And if you happen to be a PSI graduate, I was a promoter and Linda was a supporter. So those of you that went through PSI, you know what we're talking about. But for those of you that don't, it's kind of like a 3-day, really intense, it's 4 days, but it's kind of half a day one day and half a day another. But it turns out to be about 3 days of intense psychotherapy almost. But anyway, when you come out of it, you're a different person. And when I came out of that, I realized just how much of a creep I really was. And I wanted to change. And I knew I could change, but it's not necessarily it's really simple to imagine it and go with it, but it's really hard to do because your mind...
On a constant basis.
Right.
But you were aware of it, so it was...
Yeah, it helped me because I used to do digs and I used to, be judgmental about different things with different people, and it's like I was still that same person. I was still throwing them zingers periodically, and I was still being that judgmental person. But the light for me was that at least in my head, I knew that I shouldn't be doing it, which before I didn't even know that. But aside from that, we've also got involved with a group called the Millionaire Mind March. And to be quite honest, they have helped me even more so. I think that class actually prepared me for it.
It set you on the path to it.
Yeah. And then what the Millionaire Mind March has done has actually shown me how, step by step, how I can do it. How I can, for instance, talk to storms is one of the little booklets that they'll send out that you can look at. And talking to storms is where you really kind of talk to that dark person that's inside of you and get that person to straighten up. You basically treat that person like a dog and you talk yourself up. Because I think if any of you out there think about it, really think about it, how many times you tell a story that you exaggerate that story with? I know I have. And as you exaggerate that story, the more you exaggerate it and the more you talk about it, before long, it's really hard for you to believe that it didn't happen. Right? You got it so ingrained into your head that you believe it happened, just like you're saying. When in actuality, it's not even close. Same thing can do with the positive side, with keeping that ego in check. If you tell yourself often enough how great you are, how loving you are.
It does a lot more than somebody else telling you.
Yeah. When you see yourself doing it, and you really need to make that connection in the mirror, I would suggest to anybody, take a look in the mirror. Look at the eyes. When you look at your eyes, see if you make a connection with the person behind those eyes. It took me a while, but I can make a connection with that person behind my eyes. And when I do, it's like, yeah, him and I know, you know.
Harder.
We know where we're going. Pardar. Yeah. That's something that's kind of weird. But anyway, that's all I really wanted to kind of present out there, because I know there's got to be people out there that was just like me. And there's a way to change it if you want to change it.